1 Peter 2:19-20. Servants, be submissive to your masters with all respect, not only to those who are good and gentle, but also to those who are unreasonable. For this finds favor if, for the sake of conscience toward God, a person bears up under sorrows when suffering unjustly. For what credit is there if, when you sin and are harshly treated, you endure it with patience? But if when you do what is right and suffer for it, you patiently endure it, this finds favor with God. These verses always remind me of the Old Testament story of Joseph, particularly when he is thrown into prison because of the false testimony of Potiphar's wife. The story I'm talking about is in Genesis 39, after Joseph's jealous brothers sell him into slavery, and he's taken down to Egypt, where a ranking officer purchases him and quickly comes to recognize the young Israelite's talent for stewardship. Potiphar puts his entire household into Joseph's care, largely because Joseph proved himself a hard worker in spite of the unfair circumstances that had landed him where he was. When Potiphar's wife makes sexual advances on the young slave, he refuses her. Unwilling to take the rejection without revenge, she gets Joseph in trouble by telling her husband that the slave attempted to lie with her. Imagine how Joseph must have felt at this point. Twice in his life, he was treated unfairly due to the jealousy of others. If anyone had a right to complain about the situation they were in, it was Joseph. But he didn't complain. He put his trust in God. If you're like me, you probably feel a lot of conviction from this story. The verse I shared at the beginning of this segment really reflects the attitude we should have, even in difficult, unfair circumstances. Do we allow those circumstances to dictate our thoughts and behaviors? Joseph didn't, and neither did Christ. We typically have a difficult enough time facing up to the consequences we do deserve. But how likely are we to offer thanks and praise to God through the circumstances we don't deserve? If an inmate on death row is penitent and shows remorse, that's not a credit to him. It's the least he can do. But if you or I were falsely accused of murder and found ourselves on death row, how likely would we be to seek the Lord in a spirit of obedience and thanksgiving? That's where we really begin to trust in His faithfulness, just like Joseph did. In the years that followed his imprisonment, Joseph was elevated to a position of power in Egypt that must have been unimaginable. Just think, if his brothers had never sold him into slavery, he would not have gone on to save the entire nations of both Israel and Egypt during the famine that would ravage the region in the years to come.